Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your no-nonsense source for dairy strategies that actually work. Today, we're tackling the question every dairy producer should be asking: will your farm survive 2025? In this episode, we're breaking down the make-or-break risks facing dairies next year. From HPAI outbreaks that spread faster than gossip at a county fair, to milk price swings that could leave your margins thinner than a fresh heifer's patience. You'll hear hard truths from Ever.Ag's Jim Matthews about why wait and see is the riskiest strategy of all, and discover how top producers are using robotics, forward contracts, and yes, even solar panels to future-proof their operations. If you're ready to stop reacting to crises and start preventing them, let's dig in.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something pretty crucial today, something we here at the Bullvine think needs a serious look.
Definitely.
You've probably seen the headlines, maybe felt the ground shifting a bit already. 2025's dairy crisis is coming. Will your farm survive?
Yeah. Pretty stark stuff.
It is, and that's the kind of question we need to grapple with head on, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And look, for those of you tuning in, and we know you're knowledgeable dairy farmers, industry pros, let's be really clear, hoping for the best. It's just not going to cut it in 2025.
Not even close.
So we're diving deep today into risk management, strategies that honestly aren't just nice to haves anymore. They're becoming absolute essentials for navigating what looks like a potentially bumpy road ahead.
Right. We're not here for Dairy 101.
No.
We know you know the basics. We're here for the practical stuff, the nitty-gritty that impacts your daily operations and, frankly, your long-term survival.
Exactly. Consider this a deep dive focused on getting you prepared.
Our mission today, really, as we unpack all this information, is to pull out those actionable insights, the things that can make a real difference for your operation come 2025.
Yeah, maybe challenging some older ways of thinking, too.
Definitely ditching the old playbook in some areas, getting laser-focused on what keeps your farm not just, afloat, but actually thriving.
And the pressures, well, they seem to be coming from everywhere, don't they? Our sources are painting a picture of some serious headwinds for 2025.
You're not wrong. Unpredictable milk prices, for one. Doing the cha-cha as unpredictable as a fresh heifer, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then feed costs. Always hovering, seemingly one bad weather event away from spiking.
One drought away from chaos, basically.
Exactly. Plus, you've got the ongoing threat of HPAI, labor shortages that just don't seem to quit.
Shifting consumer demands, regulatory curveballs. It's a lot.
It really is. A confluence of pressures, you could say.
Like a perfect storm brewing. So the real question isn't if things get tricky, but how are you, listening right now, going to steer your operation through it all?
Right. So where do we start? Maybe with the immediate dollars and cents.
Good call. Because managing the finances, well, that's often where the immediate battles are won or lost, isn't it?
Absolutely. And our sources are really hammering this home. Just wishing for better prices, hoping for the best. It's not a strategy.
It's like yelling at the clouds, hoping it'll rain.
Pretty much. And look at the recent USDA forecast revision, the all milk price down to $21.10 per hundredweight. That's not exactly great news.
No kidding. And like you said, feed costs might look okay today, but we're always on that edge.
Always. The source material puts it bluntly, one bad weather event away from chaos.
Imagine that drought hitting the Corn Belt. Suddenly, those feed bills look terrifying.
So the smart play isn't trying to guess the market highs and lows. It's about building a really solid financial safety net.
And actually using that net.
Yes, exactly. And the first tool in that financial toolkit, according to everything we're seeing, has got to be the Dairy Margin Coverage Program, DMC.
The foundation, they call it.
For good reason. Think about it. It's triggered payments in, 66% of months since 2018, 2/3 of the time.
That's a heck of a track record for a relatively low-cost tool.
It really is. It makes you wonder. The article practically challenges people, asking why wouldn't you be enrolled at the $9.50 Tier 1 level?
Right. It feels like basic financial hygiene in this climate. You're putting a floor under your margin. It's cheap insurance against a major downturn.
To not use it seems like leaving money on the table. So, building on DMC, what's next in the toolkit?
Well, next up is Dairy Revenue Protection, or DRP.
Yes. DRP.
This one lets you lock in a revenue floor based on, expected milk prices.
And the key things there are flexibility and the subsidy, right?
Exactly. You can tailor it to specific quarters, which is huge. And yes, it's subsidized, which makes it more affordable.
The message seems to be, Don't ignore this. Look for opportunities to lock in that protection when the market gives you a decent level.
Definitely. Don't just set it and forget it. Be active. Then there's another layer for some folks, LGM dairy, livestock gross margin.
Right, LGM dairy. Who's that really best suited for?
Well, the sources suggest it's particularly useful if your farm's margins tend to track with things like Class 3 futures, corn, and soy prices.
Okay.
You can layer it with DMC. It basically protects that gross margin, the difference between milk revenue and feed costs, another piece of the puzzle.
Gotcha. So moving from government programs to more direct market tools.
Forward contracts,
Yeah.
DFPP. If your handler, your co-op, offers them.
You should probably take a serious look.
That's the advice. Use them for at least a portion of your milk. It gives you some price certainty.
Yeah, it's not about hitting the absolute peak price, is it? It's about managing risk, taking some volatility off the table.
Precisely. And then for the more, let's say, market-savvy operators.
Futures and options on the CME.
Yep. Powerful tools for hedging both milk and feed. But, and this is a big...
Margin calls.
Exactly. The sources rightly caution about that. This isn't for everyone. You need the expertise and the risk tolerance.
It's definitely an advanced strategy. But the big picture here, financially speaking,
Is be proactive. Don't wait.
that's the quote, isn't it? Don't wait for the perfect price. Lock in protection when you can.
Don't get caught waiting for a peak that might never come or comes too late. When you see a chance to protect your downside, grab it.
Makes sense. Okay, so finances are one massive piece. What about securing the actual production side, keeping cows healthy and milking?
Yeah, another critical area.
Yeah.
And in 2025, like you mentioned earlier, that conversation has to start with biosecurity, especially with HPAI still looming.
It has to. And the sources really push on this, asking, how robust is your biosecurity really?
Are you just checking boxes or is it deeply ingrained?
That's the core question. It's not about having a binder on the shelf. It's about habits, protocols that actually work under pressure.
And they lay out some non-negotiables.
Like pasteurizing all milk and colostrum, no exceptions.
Strict quarantine for new animals. Seems obvious, but
But are people really doing it rigorously and sanitizing equipment like it's an operating room?
yeah, that comparison hits home. Biosecurity is the operating room for your farm's health. It's got to be as fundamental as feed and water.
Because a major outbreak doesn't just hurt production temporarily, it can cripple you financially. It's playing with fire to cut corners here.
Totally agree. Then there's the climate piece. It's not going away.
No. And the challenge is, are you actively investing in heat stress mitigation? Fans, sprinklers, shade.
Or are you just crossing your fingers for a cool summer, which, let's be honest, isn't much of a plan anymore.
Relying on Mother Nature's mood swings is risky business these days.
And it's not just cow comfort, right? It's feed security, too.
Absolutely. Optimizing irrigation, planting more drought-tolerant forages. Are you looking at those things?
These aren't just buzzwords. They're becoming essential for ensuring you have reliable, affordable feed when the weather gets weird.
And it leads to that tough question the sources pose. Are you going to be caught flat-footed by the next heat wave or disease outbreak?
Or will your herd keep ticking along while others are scrambling? That resilience is a huge competitive edge.
Huge. Okay, let's pivot again. Operational efficiency, labor, technology.
Yes. Labor, the perennial challenge. And the sources don't mince words here either. Are you still managing labor like it's 1995?
Ouch. But it's a fair question.
It is, because that workforce isn't coming back to how it was. And the folks who are working have higher expectations.
Things have fundamentally shifted, and hoping it goes back, probably not happening.
Which leads directly to automation.
It's not the future anymore, is it? It's the present necessity for a lot of farms.
Take robotic milking. The potential labor reduction, 60 to 75%, that's massive.
It's a game changer. And the source compares investing in it to, like, safeguarding your corn silage harvest. It's that critical an investment potentially.
That's a strong comparison. And it's not just milking. Automated feeding. Wearable sensors.
Huge time savers. Plus those sensors for early disease detection. That allows your skilled people
To focus on more strategic stuff, not just routine tasks or spotting sick cows visually.
exactly using their skills where they add the most value.
And let's talk precision feeding. The financial impact there can be significant.
Yeah, are you still eyeballing rations, as they put it,
Well,
or using data?
because the difference, according to the numbers, could be $0.75 to $1.50 per hundredweight in saved production costs.
Over a year on a decent-sized herd, that adds up fast.
It absolutely does. The bottom line on efficiency is simple. Every dollar saved on feed or labor
Is a dollar you keep. especially when milk prices are tight.
Those efficiency gains are your buffer during downturns. Critical stuff.
Okay, so we've covered finances, production security, efficiency. What about the market itself? Adapting to where things are headed.
Crucial point. Are you producing what the market actually wants, or just what you've always produced?
Things like milk components, sustainability proof points, animal welfare.
Those aren't just niche things anymore. They're increasingly mainstream demands.
Which means you need to look hard at your marketing strategy. Are you comparing your co-op deal versus direct contracts?
Really running the numbers, not just sticking with what's familiar. Sometimes comfortable isn't the most profitable.
Good point. And then there's diversification.
On-farm processing, maybe agritourism, beef on dairy, renewable energy.
Our sources frame these not as trends, but as proven ways to spread risk and capture new income.
It's about not having all your eggs in the bulk milk basket, building multiple revenue pillars.
Ultimately, it comes down to a willingness to change, doesn't it? Will you adapt, or will the market just leave you behind?
That's the stark choice. Standing still is often the biggest risk now.
So putting all these pieces together, finance, production, efficiency, market adaptation, how do you make it all work?
Through an integrated risk management plan. That's the key takeaway. It's not about putting out fires reactively.
It's about proactive prevention, building resilience everywhere.
And the resilient dairies. They have that diversified portfolio, a mix of financial tools.
Strong herd health and biosecurity going beyond just HPAI.
Investments in climate adaptation, heat stress, water, forages.
Relentless focus on efficiency through automation, precision ag, keeping good employees, adaptive marketing, focusing on quality, maybe sustainability niches.
Rigorous financial planning budgets, scenario plans, cash flow projections.
And staying plugged in on policy and regulations. Farm Bill, FMMO, environmental rules.
You can't afford to ignore that stuff. It directly impacts your business.
It all leads to that bovine bottom line section in the source material, which is pretty blunt.
Very blunt. It says many dairies might not survive the decade. Not because of bad farming, but because of poor risk management.
Sobering. But it also paints a picture of the farms that will thrive.
Yeah, the vigilant ones. Adaptable, always improving, data-driven, tech-savvy, financially disciplined.
Honest about weaknesses and actually doing something about them. Proactive.
It's a high bar, but it's achievable. And the call to action is crystal clear.
Don't wait for a crisis.
Exactly. Schedule that risk management audit. Talk to your team, your advisors, Ever.Ag gets mentioned as a resource there.
Find your vulnerabilities, make a plan, and then act on it.
Don't just make the plan and put it on the shelf.
Right. Action is key. And it leaves everyone listening with that direct challenge. What action will you take today to secure your dairy's future tomorrow?
Powerful question. So just to recap those key takeaways quickly.
Layer financial protections, DMC, DRP, forwards. Don't rely on just one.
Automate or stagnate robotics. Sensors are vital now.
Secure feed, strategically lock in 60-70% when prices dip.
Biosecurity equals profitability. Take HPAI protocols dead seriously.
And milk components matter. Chase those butterfat and protein premiums.
Yeah, and the executive summary just reinforces all that. Unprecedented volatility in 2025. Need for these strategies. Data over tradition.
It even quotes Jim Matthews from Ever.Ag, emphasizing decisive action, tech adoption, strategic contracts over just doing things the old way.
So, wrapping this deep dive up, the message couldn't be clearer, could it?
Not really. Proactive integrated risk management. That's the key differentiator for success in 2025. It's not optional anymore.
We really hope you listening will take some time, reflect on these points. Where are your biggest vulnerabilities? What's one thing you can start tackling right now?
Yeah, use this as a starting point. Talk to your advisors, dig deeper, start building or refining that resilience plan for what's coming.
And building on that bovine bottom line thought, maybe the final question to leave you with is this. 5 years from now, looking back at 2025, what story will your farm tell?
Will it be a story of resilience and success or a cautionary tale?
Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Thanks for joining us on the Bovine Podcast. If this episode lit a fire under your risk management plans, and we hope it did, head to thebovine.com for links to all the programs and tools we discussed. Before you go, hit subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive on turning 2025's challenges into opportunities. Until then, remember what separates the survivors from the statistics. The best time to fix the barn roof is while the sun's still shining. From everyone here at the Bovine, remember to keep your margins wide and your bulk tank full.